Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my stream. Welcome to another chapter working on that guy right there. That's our F-35A Lightning II airplane by Tamiya, and it's a 1/48 scale model kit. We're going to run the intro and we'll see what's next. Okay, we're back. An airplane taking off in the background. Maybe just for effect. I don't know. Just give it a second. Okay, so we're going to continue on the build here. Last time we got a bunch of stuff. We got our intakes all done. We got our little nose cone all assembled and all put in. So we've got this done. That's all finished. That's all been drying and all nice and cured and nice and solid. Okay, so that's that. That was finishing step number 7. Okay, now also in step number 7, they want us to put on some decals. But decals go on after painting, right? I mentioned last time in the last episode how I was thinking by looking at the instructions that possibly I might have to paint the fuselage before I actually assemble it all together because of all these decals that have to go on. But then after I was kind of just looking at it again, it's like, well, I think the decals can wait until assembly. So yeah, I might be able to just do my normal pattern of, assembling both halves of the fuselage and then painting it like normal. I think so. I think I'll be able to get away with it. Now, obviously, we've got all these little things, like all the little clear parts that have a little masking bits on them. Those are all done, so I don't have to worry about it. So let's go flip our book over and look at step number 8. Okay, change the camera so you can see what the heck I'm talking about. Okay. All right, step number 8 is a whole page. Well, let's call this 8A. This is, we have to drill holes in the wings if you want to do the ordnance in the different things like the bombs and stuff like that, and the AIM 9Xs if you want to put those on the wings. I'm going to do a clean thing. So I'm not actually having, I'm going to be doing A. This is what I'm doing. So I am not going to have to drill any holes in the wings because I'm not going to have any ordnance. I did briefly think about doing this one here, the air-to-air mode, and having the AIM 9Xs on the wings. But then I just, you know what? It's going to look, this will look more like it's F-22 brother if I do this, right? So I'm going to do this one. And of course you could do what they're calling beast mode and have all of your things, all of the weapon loadouts on there if you felt like it. But I'm not doing beast mode. We're doing A. We're doing our stealth mode. That's what we're doing. Which means I don't have to do any of those holes. And the other thing they're saying here is to make sure that you paint in here white for your weapons bay. Okay. So we'll move down to step 8B, where we're actually going to put a couple of things on here. So you see the little outlines around here. You need to paint all that white. You got to have this white because that's going to be part of the weapons bay. Okay. So what I did is I spent a couple of hours, literally a couple of hours, and I pre-masked this off. This is obviously already white. I've primered it all. It's all white. So I just masked this off so that I wouldn't have to worry about, later on masking it. So while this is just one small little piece like this, it's all masked. So, and obviously I have put chrome in here. You can see that's nice and chromy. That's in preparation for installing B8, which is what I'm going to do right now. Let's find my clear sprue wherever that wound up. Here it is. B8 is what we're going to do. Actually, I started a little quickly here and I don't have my other glasses on. So let's just get those going real quick here. Okay, B8, this guy right here. B8. B8. Now, I gotta get my tools out from underneath my instructions. Okay. So I'm gonna clean up this little nub on here. Although I did a pretty good job. Just want to make sure. Of course, they paint it clear, or they paint it clear. They mold it in clear, but really the only clear spots are going to be these two little spots that are got the masking tape on. Those are going to stay clear. The rest of this is going to be painted the fuselage color. And just like the clear spot, the clear one on top here, in similar fashion, we've got a little notch right here and a little peg right here. So that helps you line them up so you know which side goes forward. And assuming this is like the top, yes, it's a very nice snug fit. She goes just like that. And we've got a piece of clear on the bottom. I'm going to use my extra thin here. Capillary action, not that it matters because the thing is going to be painted anyway. There we go. So we've got that installed. That's this guy. Now we've got the other thing, A62 and 63, and a great big note here, of course, just like the top. You only put these on if you're doing the training exercise version of these, which I'm not. So again, no holes needed. I'm not putting these on. Next, we have G16. It's going to go on the back here. So we got to get that off the sprue. We got to find my G sprue. Where's my G? F, E, A. Of course, at the very bottom. Of course, it's at the bottom. Okay, here's G. Carefully cut this off. There we go. Okay. Now, this is a pretty tight fit, so I want to make sure my nubs are clean on here. Putting the one on the top was a really snug fit, so I want to make sure I don't have any issues. To me, as tolerances are really tight on this kit. Everything fits like just perfect. And in similar fashion, this fits just perfect. So, go in there, in there, give that a bit of a press down. I want to get, I want glue in the middle too. So we'll go in under here. Let's give that a bit of a hold down just to make sure. Let that glue do its thing for a minute. And I think that's it for step number 8. That's going to conclude this page. Of course, I show all the decals that are supposed to go on here too and go around our weapons bay. But of course, decals are going to be after painting. I might have to do the decals before I do any like landing gear kind of thing, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's flip our page over and see what's next. While I'm still holding on to this thing. Okay, so what's next is step number 9 is a whole bunch more decals. And they show us the weapons bay doors in the open and closed positions. You can choose which one you want. Okay, so that's done. Let's put this aside for now. And weapons bay, we have all this painting that needs to be done and all the wiring and everything in our weapons bay. Fun stuff, yes. It's a lot of detail stuff. In fact, there's so much they've had to put it on here twice so they could put enough of these little lines and everything in color callouts. As you can see, I gave myself a little reference chart here, see which colors all these numbers are. And yeah, and so let's do that. Boom. Okay, we're done. Just like that. This is my weapons bay, all painted up according to the little color charts. There's my weapons bay. All right, there you go. So step 10 is done. Flip. That was quick. Step 11, we're going to assemble our engine. So let's have a look at our engine. This is G15, 17, and 18. I'm going to have to paint G15. I haven't got that painted yet. And it's got to be painted our little mixture of LP59 and 61, 2 to 1. And we've got to put our two halves together. I've already painted the inside of it, that little bit of a whitish color. But what I want to do is give this a nice little clear coat so that I can put a panel liner on here and get a wash and get some detail on there. So that calls for a little bit of Tamiya Clear TS13. I'm just going to go through there and do that. And I'll fire up my air compressor so that I can paint this. Let's just do this. There we go. That's nice and glossy in there now. Nice and shiny. I'm going to let that dry. Nice thing about Tamiya spray paint, it dries in like 5 minutes or less. Okay. Now, let's fire up the air compressor. And let's paint that. Now, I've got to paint this guy. I've got to paint the fan. But I think this is going to be the same color. So I might as well paint this at the same time. I'm going to skip ahead. You know, while I've got the paint in the airbrush, I might as well paint the things that need to be painted so that the things will be painted. And yes, I'm right. So that's is going to be the exact same color. In fact, the outsides of our fins, D2, are going to be the same also. So I might as well do them all at the same time. Let's move this. I don't want to leave little nub marks on that when I paint it. So I'm going to take this off the sprue. So this one doesn't matter. I can leave this on the sprue and paint it right there. The other thing I need is my little engine, my little nozzles. My little nozzle fins, wherever those guys are. Where are my nozzle fins? Here they are. These guys here, these are going to be all the same color also. And the way Tamiya has our little, where it's attached on the sprue, is right on the edges. So I don't have to worry about taking those off. I can paint them on the sprue also. So yay. This is the only guy that had to come off. So I'm just going to make sure my nub is clean on here. What I like to do when I get situations like this where I've got nubs that might be seen, I kind of try and hide them either on the bottom of the plane or right on the sides where the tail fins or your stabilizers go so that you don't see them. But I have a feeling this is going to get tucked in kind of under the fuselage in a way, maybe wind up being something like this. And so you wouldn't see them anyway. That's how I'm feeling. You're not going to see that side anyway. So it doesn't really matter, I don't think. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this down on my little painting block here. we're going to do this, and I'm going to take some masking tape and we'll do this, this, and then I can go doink, and that'll stay. See? Perfect. And now I can paint that, just like that. Just like that. And then I don't have to use any blue tack or anything like that. Now, air compressor's ready to go. I happen to have, what are my two colors here I need? 659 and 61. What do I need? 59 and 61. 59 and 61. That's these two here. LP59 is our NATO brown, and LP61 is metallic gray. So basically, we're making a metallic brown. We got to do 2 to 1. So let's get a mixing cup. Let's mix these up. So we want 2 parts of the 59 to 1 part 61. This feels like it's a brand new jar. I don't even have a little mixing ball in it. What about this guy? Yeah, he's got a ball in him. He's ballsy, that's for sure. Which means this is the first time I've opened this, which means this is thick and not suitable for spray painting straight out of the jar. So I need to put a little bit of thinner in this. I like to have my Tamiya paints roughly 50-50 thinned for airbrushing. Something like that. Okay, now we can mix that up. Give that a good mix. Now this one, I'm going to have to see how thin this one is. I've obviously painted with this one. This one looks pretty thin. I think this is pre-thinned. Of course, it's the lacquer paint, so it's already pretty good paint. Okay, so 2 to 1. This should be pretty good. I'm going to suck one of these out, and then I'll do 2 of the metallic gray. I'm going to get a couple of things out of the way here for now. And get a couple of things that I'm going to need. All right, so give this a suck and a blow. Okay, there we go. Wipe that off just a little bit. We don't need to be putting an unnecessary amount of brown into our metallic gray. And now we'll do 2 of the metallic grays. And we're going to have way more paint than we need for this little amount, but that's not important. I got a brown bubble in there. That's funny. Okay, 1 and 2. Now I'm just going to use this little suck and blow action to mix this up. See, really all this is doing is giving my metallic gray kind of a brownish tinge. That's really all it's doing. There we go. Okay. So we've got this done. That's all mixed up. We'll put these away. Now I would like to, I'm going to preserve this so that I can use it again in the future. I'm going to leave a little bit in here and get the airbrush ready. She's ready to go. I might as well use my dropper. There we go. That's probably more than I need. There's our mix. There we go. Now we'll save that so that we have it for next time. This can go away. Let's put this down because I don't want overspray on my desk. And we'll start spraying. All right. There we go. That's done. That over here. Let's do our fins. I'm not sure what it is with Tamiya paints. They're metallics. They don't like to spray for me. And I'm not sure why. I think they want a thicker nozzle, wider nozzle than what I normally spray with. There's a 0.2 needle in here, or I think it's a 0.3. I don't know what my needle is in this airbrush anymore. But there we go. Those are done. Okay, put those aside. That wasn't very nice. Why do you need to hook on everything? Calm down. Okay, those ones done. I want to do, because I did 2 coats on these, I want to do 2 on the other one. So I'll do a second coat on this one. Okay, there we go. And finally, the actual engine fan. Do this. And there we go. Engine fan done. Okay. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes cleaning up my airbrush, and then we'll come back, okay?
moments later.
Okay, so we're back. The airbrush is all cleaned up, put aside, so we can get back to the assembly of our engine here. So it's been a few minutes. My clear has had a chance to dry. So now I want to do a little panel liner in through here just to, just to make this, you know, get the detail in there because there are some details on those lines. And so we want to do this. And you go, what are you doing? You just ruined it. No, I didn't ruin it. It's not ruined. Okay? So calm down. It's not ruined. We're just we're just making it ugly right now. That's all. Change the camera so you can see. Yes, I just made the inside of my engine really ugly. But we're going to fix it. We're going to fix the ugly. Let's get some mineral spirits, otherwise known as enamel thinner. Excuse me. Dip that in there. We don't want to keep it soaked, so we're just going to put that on a cloth, and we'll put this aside. Get this, rub it on, roll it on there, get a lot of the moisture out of there. Now this season hasn't even had a chance to dry yet, so we could just use our paper towel, dab this up, and help it out, help it dry a little bit faster. Okay, and we're gonna just streak this off and kind of even it all out. Okay, even this all out. And you're gonna say, I thought you said you were making it look better, but you didn't ruin it, but it still looks like you ruined it. Yep, it does. It does look that way, doesn't it? But this is a process, and you have to trust the process. It's going to smear it around, just like this. And even out all that black. So it's all the same. Okay. That's looking better, but it's not there yet. Okay. I'm going to clean off our Q-tip. Because really, if I just continue with the Q-tip like that, all I'm going to do is just smearing the black all around, and I don't want that. Okay. Blow on that just a little bit, help that dry. We're going to do another shot of that. I'm going to use the other end of our Q-tip. Okay. Dip that in there. Dry this off a little bit. Going a little bit lighter. What's the purpose of this? To create those streaks that you see inside the engines on them. You always see streaks on the insides of jet engines, right? Those hot gases that are flowing through there at velocity speeds creates these dark lines that you always see. And that's the whole point of this. That's the whole point. And to me, that's looking much better. The camera really, like to the naked eye, it doesn't look that bad. I don't know why the camera really highlights it, but it looks pretty good now. Let's get that off the sprue. Get both of these off of here. And of course, our engine fan. There we go. Put this away. Okay, our two engine halves go together like this. Nice and simple. I should clean up our little nubs here. Where's my knife? There's my knife. Once again, to me as engineering, they even have top on here with little arrows. Do you see that? It says top. Here, I'll turn that around. Top, right where my finger is, right there. And then there's arrows pointing to the top on both sides. Do you think it says top on the real engine? Probably not, eh? Probably not. All right, so looking at our instructions, which side does our engine go on? Which side does the fan go on? It goes on the side that does not have this notch on the top. It goes on this side here. In fact, if you look at the diagram where if you reference these two pegs, this is the side that the engine goes on, our fan here. And of course, the fan has this great big notch there, right there, and that's going to line up with that. And slide in there just like that. All right, so let's put some glue on there. There we go. And of course, it's one of those things you're not really going to see. You can't really see that fan in there. It's dark, that's for sure. And of course, got all my little streaks in there, so that's good. Yes, done. That part's done. That part of the engine is finished. We're going to put that aside. And we're going to move on. Weapons Bay 1. So obviously we have this, our big weapons bay bucket done. And we're going to spend a bunch of time putting in some different parts in this guy. Alrighty. So, looks like we could start with our rear wall, which is this guy here. Might be the front wall, I don't know. We're going to start with our wall. But we got to put in F-42. And they say here they got a big 1 and a 2, so F-42 has to go in first. Let's find my F and tree here. G and C. A, E, F. Okay, so we got a bunch of stuff on this tree. F-42. Where are you? You're over here on this side. Here's F-42 right there. I'm going to keep this down here because I know I'm going to need it a bunch of times. So let's turn this way. And F-42 goes down into that big block right there. Right here. Okay. And then he's going to go into that little hole. So what's going to be easier? In theory, I could possibly put him in there first. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think it's going to matter, guys. Well, let's put some glue in that little hole where he goes. Set him down. And then the wall's going to go in. You have to line it up with these two little things. We've got two little slots there. That's going to line up like this. And it's just going to slide in there like that. And of course, it's a perfect freaking fit. Of course it is. So I'm going to have the wall, I'm going to leave it back here like this. Ready. We're going to have it ready. We put some glue here. Going to fill up that hole. Put our little pipe in. So now let's slide our wall over while lining up this little pipe. There we go. Nope, nope, we're not there. There we go, we're in. Okay, she's lined up and our wall's in at the same time. So we're going to glue the wall. Slots in really nicely. Lots of spots where it makes contact. Can glue this in really solid, and where my pipe goes through, we can go right there. Put a little glue on there. So the pipe's glued to the wall too. We'll give this another little press just to make sure it's solid. And she's solid. And if I was really paranoid, I could even add more glue under here on the inside, but I don't think I need it. I don't think it's necessary. Okay, so that part's done. Next, making our way down here. F-18 goes onto the wall, goes onto this guy here. So let's find F-18. And while I'm at it, I might as well get F-46 off. F-18 and 46. Oh, here's 46. And now we need an F-18 over here. All right. I might have to do some touch-up painting on this, like on this edge of this piece. It's pretty gray. Obviously, I didn't get that when I sprayed it white. So, yeah, little things like that are going to have to be done. So we got a peg that's going to go in that hole, I imagine. I have this the wrong way around. Oh, it fits over top of that. Yeah, it just fits over top. Now, in theory, I could just put glue through the back here. But I don't think that's going to give a very solid. So I want to add a little more here. There. Okay, so that guy's in there. And now we got our little F-46. You are going to go where? I guess it lines up here. Yeah, into this little notch. Right in here. That little channel. This is a tight fit. How does Tamiya want me to get this in here? when it won't flex. Okay, so we've actually got a slit in the wall here that this is supposed to fit into, theoretically. Let's just chamfer this a little bit. Maybe that will help. Slide it in there. Because she really don't want to. Let's get that lined up there. She is a tight fit. Why to me I made this such a tight fit, I don't know. I almost want to widen up that slot. That sounds awful, doesn't it? And I'm going to preemptively do the same thing on this side. Just do a little bit of scraping on this. Because she literally is not going in. And same with this little piece. Needs a little chamfering. Man, that's tight. Needs some pliers with a little bit of grip on them. Be able to shove this in here. There. She almost clicked in. But wow, that is a tight fit. That little wall's in there now. This guy here. This one right here. Even got a freeze on the camera for it. Yeah. Tight fit. So tight, it's kind of clicked in and I don't even need to glue it, but I'm going to. Because of the, we have to glue. Now I am going to have to paint this side. Okay, this side is visible. I did a little test fit when this is actually pushed up into the lower fuselage. This is visible. So I am going to have to paint that little part gray, or I mean paint it white. So yeah, there is that. Okay, that piece finally in. We got C11 is going to go right here, and it's supposed to be chrome. Let's find our C tree. I think we got two. That C is our weapons trees, I believe. Yes. We got a couple of things off of our C tree. C11, this guy right here. Now he's going to be chrome later. So the reason why I don't have him painted right now is because of the It's really because I'm going to be handling them right now, and I didn't want to be having him painted chrome and then I go and touch him a whole bunch of times. Although I'm sure he's a guy and he doesn't mind being touched, but it'll be a lot easier to paint this now that it's in. That can be chrome, and we'll just worry about that later. Okay, so I'll paint that later after a little bit. Obviously going to have to do it on this side too. right? Got this guy here, so we got this guy here. It's going to be the same thing. Moving down, C3PO. No, just C3. This guy here. He goes this way. Oh, I want to clean that off. Should touch up his paint a little bit too. He's going to slide down this great big hole. Is going to go over this great big peg, just like so. So I'm going to use different glue. And just smother or slather. How about that? That's a good word, slather. And then push down. There he goes. Simple enough. Next, this wall, F9 and 10. Let's go F10. Do that one first. Where is F10? Here we go. Oh, he almost hit the floor. F10 goes on this side here, and he's going to go right here. He's going to be the opposite wall. Oh, it just slides in right there and fits just nice and perfect. And no farting around, no difficulty. So he's what I call a good team player. Fits in perfect. Okay. And now finally we have, oh, F11. F11 goes down in here in this big notch. F11. Where are you? Ah, you're right here. Pliers, I don't need you. Okay. F11. He's going to go right here. Simple enough. All right. That's that. Okay. So, next, we have a couple of pipes. Some more piping. Let's see. Attached parts numbered in order. Okay, so number one, we're going to do F43, this little pipe here. This guy, let's see where he lines up. Okay, this end of the pipe here is going to go onto this little knob right here. Right there. You guys see that? It's going to go right there. That's where that end of the pipe goes. Okay. So do that. Get that lined up. Everywhere else should just kind of fall into place where it goes. Yeah, so you got this bracket. It's going to line up there. But it's going to line up against the wall here. And there's a hole in the wall for it to go. So you need to stick it in the wall first. In this little hole here. Bingo. And now lay him down. There we go. And you line, just, can you get any more perfect? Like, holy shit. And there's that pipe. You stick it in the wall first, and it just drops in perfectly. Absolutely perfect. That's part number one. Okay. Number two is the bigger pipe, F-55. There we go. I might as well, we got to do F-56. I might as well, since I've got it right here, I might as well get it off the sprue. Okay. That way I don't have to search for it later. Let's just make sure I got that clean off of there. Looks pretty good. Okay. Now this guy. Let's clean up this nub just a little bit. Okay. So this guy, it looks like this little funky little bracket up here, this one here, goes down to that little notch right there. So, and he just lays down like this. Again, just a perfect fit. Couple of spots where it's going to be touching on the ground. Where it connects here, this wall. Kind of connects right here. Yeah, it's really, there we go. There's our bigger pipe laid down. And finally, we got F-56 is going to go down onto this section of the wall, which now is a little bit challenging. How does this go? It goes like this. Okay. Goes into there. It lines up onto our little red knob thing. That. Show you guys in a second once I got glue on this. You can see how where F-56 and how it goes on, just like that. Okay, there's F-56. You can see it connects to that little red, the little red knob on the wall, and then goes in there. Okay, you got it? Yeah, okay. And so that concludes both steps, or all steps 11, 12, and 13. And that's going to be it for this. If we flip this over, we're doing all similar stuff on this side, except for a couple of things are going to be different, right? So we've got the same little F-19 that's going to go in there. Down in there, we've got F-47, which is a very similar wall to the other side, going into that little channel. C-11 goes onto this side, just like on this one. C3 goes onto that knob, just like on this one, same as the other side. So those are all the same. So the only things that are different is we've got our F-30. Oh, I got decals I need to apply. I haven't applied the decals. So I'm going to have to do that. And then we're going to do all this. We're going to do this next time. Okay. Actually, what I can do, since we're here, this I can do. I'm going to do this off camera. But for now, we're going to install our engine into the fuselage. Okay. Let's get that done. let's grab, this looks like, is this the top or is this the bottom? This is the bottom. This is the bottom of the fuselage. We grab our engine. We want the, oh, yeah, that's right. We want it facing up, and we want the fan at the back, and, or I guess the fan facing forward. And then we're going to line our 4 little pegs up with these 4 little pegs. 4 pegs lined up with 4 pegs. That makes sense. And she's going to sit just like this. Just like that. Okay. So, I'm going to be done with this. And grab this, put generous amounts of glue on. So we got a good solid connection. Line those up. 1, 2, and push it in. There we go. Okay. And there's our engine installed. Just like that. Alrighty. Alrighty. Okay. So with that done, this is where I'm going to have to leave it. I'll do the rest of the engine bay off camera. We'll let this dry, and then we'll continue on doing stuff. We're going to have to do that next time. Okay. So with that, I'm going to have to leave it for now. I've got to get going. We're going to have to continue this next time. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you for watching. I've reached 1,230 subscribers. That's amazing. Is it 12:30 or is it 11:30? I don't know. I know it ends in 30, and that is really amazing to me. And I really appreciate it, guys. Really, thank you so much. You know, I was talking to a coworker the other day, and just talking about my YouTube channel and like the reasons why I do this at all. And you know how when I first started out, my feeling was, you know, for people who just they look at models and they think they're pretty cool and they'd like to build one, but they feel like they don't have the skill or the knowledge or anything like that. I want to show you guys that you don't have to be a professional to make a model kit that looks cool sitting on your shelf and you're proud that you built it. And by just watching me and doing my very simple techniques, you can do the same thing. I know you can because I can. And yeah, so if I could help one guy be inspired to build a kit, then I've done my job, right? And yeah, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I do this. The fact that over 1,000 of you guys follow me, that is really just amazing, and thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. And of course, like I always say, check out the links in the description box below, and you'll see my other stuff like my Instagram and my Twitch channel. And check me out there, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe too if you haven't already. I really appreciate it, guys. Leave a comment down below. I love reading your comments. Yeah, so I guess with that, that's going to be it for today, and see you all in the next one.